Hello, and welcome to Not Just Another White Woman's Podcast, The Beauty of Transformation. So, this is a podcast interviewing interesting women of all cultures and backgrounds from all over the world who share their insights about their transformations and challenges in their lives. These women have deep wisdom about life's challenges and joys and how they got to where they are today. Breaking down the patriarchy, this podcast also delves into topics that build us up as women and those who identify as women. And
Mhm.
today I'm so honored to introduce Lori Harger, who is a psychiatric nurse practitioner providing integrative care of body, mind, and spirit through the use of botanical and nutritional medicines, pharmaceuticals, and a deep trust in the innate healing process of all living systems. She works with the Pascua-Yaqui tribe of Arizona and is in private practice. Lori founded Nurses Healing Nurses to offer transformational continuing education and heart-centered peer support for nurses. She loves living with her two-legged and four-legged family in Tucson, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lori.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you, Amy.
Yes, yes. And you and I met at the American Holistic Nurses Association conference.
Right.
Yes, back in June, and that was just lovely. It was my first time. Was it your first time?
No, I have gone a handful of times.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I like to go when I can.
And you did lead a couple of lovely workshops
Mhm.
there.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
incredible.
Would you mind describing those couple of workshops that you did, if you recall what they were? I know it's
Right.
been a little while.
It's a memory test here.
Hmm.
Sure. So, I mean, I always like to go offer something about the heart-centered work that I do. And so this was really about using heart energy healing, which is, as nurses, we are not always trained in, but it's part of the nursing scope of practice to practice hands near subtle energy work. And heart energy healing is something that I just find really transformational in the work that I do. So I was presenting about how we can access our own hearts through breath and the awareness of the physical heartbeat to really energize our hearts and our healing presence, and how we can apply that clinically, but also how that is a two-way street. If we're showing up that way for others, it's a function of showing up that way for ourselves, and how we can be a healing presence for ourselves and others in the world. That's, I think, an okay summary of what I
Yeah,
did.
I think so. I attended, I think, one of your optional earlier morning ones that was some meditation, and that was
Mhm.
lovely. It's a wonderful way to start the day.
I would love to just meet with that group of holistic nurses weekly. We are from all over the
Right.
world, really, but
Absolutely.
the atmosphere we created in there together, everybody breathing with their heartbeat, was just it it's heavenly.
It really was. And we should just plug ANA, which is the American Holistic Nurses Association, because for other nurses, because wow, it was a healing time. And
Hmm.
so many nurses really need that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. So I did share your bio in the beginning, but I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, if you could tell us a little bit more about your journey to where you are now. Like what brought you here with everything that you're doing now?
That's such a good question. Like, how far back do I go? I only
Yeah,
remember
is
the
yeah,
current life.
that's right. Yeah, I mean maybe just like, how you got into nursing and then kind of what brought you to where you are now and yeah.
Hmm. I think I realized really early on that I wanted to be involved somehow in healthcare, but I was realizing that as even a pre-adolescent, at the same time that I was really realizing kind of tragic shortcomings of our medical system because of
Mm,
experiences in my own family. So
yeah.
I first set foot in a psychiatric unit at the age of 8 when my mother took me to visit my older brother. who was
Mm,
being hospitalized for the first of many psychiatric breaks.
mhm.
And I just felt like on the one hand, this wasn't the scary place that you somehow like, even at that young age, that I had this image of a psych hospital being a very scary
Right.
place. It wasn't that, but I just had this sense of like, I don't think anything good is coming of this.
Mm.
And I just got so curious from that time on. And as a teenager, I was really interested in plants, herbal medicine, what's really healing in the world. I got interested
Hmm.
in yoga and meditation as a teenager in North Idaho, where these things were not practiced. So I
Right.
was really looking far afield and then traveling far afield. And I kept studying herbs and yoga and just kept having my own experiences as life kind of knocks you around. And I
Hmm.
realized when I trained as an herbalist at the Southwest School of Botanical Medicine. And I realized, just working with people in the community, offering kind of consultation services and then accompanying birthing friends to labor and delivery in the hospital. I'm like, I want to know everything these nurses know. Can I possibly do this? I felt very mm, uh, uh, frightened maybe of going
Yeah.
into that too. And I spent a lot of time thinking like, how do I really want to be involved in healthcare beyond being this like totally alternative person just outside the systems of care as an herbalist. And so I eventually decided to become a nurse and then a nurse practitioner, and I've never regretted it. I just um, have such a fondness and a respect for what the profession of nursing is, and that's something I can see myself doing until I leave this earth in some form or another.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it really interesting that you kind of found some of the holistic stuff first before you got into nursing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
where I feel like I hear a lot of people that go into nursing and then they kind of find some of the holistic, stuff. So I like that you had that holistic background already and then you stepped into nursing and they marry pretty well.
Very well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
nursing
Yes.
is nursing is a holistic approach to the human being. So,
It is. It is.
mm.
Do you feel like your nursing curriculum that you went to, like your undergraduate stuff, did it address holistic care pretty well, or do you think that lacked a little bit?
Well, it definitely didn't address interventions beyond, what are kind of standard nursing interventions.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was pleasantly surprised about is how the nursing approach, just the nursing process is in fact holistic, that it gave me better tools to understand, what I'd already been doing in terms of providing very alternative
Mm-hmm.
care. Just, the nursing process works and it helps you organize care and it helps you think about a person as a whole person. And I found that, I thought I was going to want to kind of cover up what I um, was in the alternative sense. And I found that the profession is very welcoming of alternatives, which
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't, I was just in a great training earlier this week where the instructor said, please don't refer to what you're learning and practicing from here as alternative. This is just healthcare. This is just how we take care of people's bodies and minds. Um, so yeah, I think yes and no in answer to your question. Like,
Yeah.
did the curriculum address that? I was delighted when we covered the nursing theories, and there's this nurse theorist who says that we are, Martha Rogers, right? She says that
Mm-hmm.
how did she say it? We are open, energetic systems interconnected with the
Yes,
universe and with each other. Wow, that opened my mind more and my heart to a much vaster field of holism than just using herbs and nutrition. It was like,
right.
we are energy. And it was nursing that introduced me to that idea that we are energetic beings.
Yes.
That's wild.
So then that moves me to my next question. So, how did you get into the heart energy?
Okay.
Yeah.
I I was in a really rough place in my life. So I was in nursing school. I was a single mom, and I was trying to make it work out with the father of my youngest child and realized I had to get rid of him because nursing was helping me learn about the importance of boundaries.
Yes.
And I realized I'd kind of gotten myself a couple of patients, one after, there were only two, but the men that I partnered with were like more like patients than partners. And I was in this very hard place. And an acquaintance of mine, we had children in school together. She said, you should go talk to this counselor. I didn't even tell her I was having such a hard time. She could just see it in my face. She said, this
Hmm.
counselor has helped me so much. You should go see him. And he taught me heart rhythm meditation. And he had learned heart rhythm meditation from the Institute of Applied Meditation, where I started studying after being introduced through sessions with him. And I just started participating in every meditation retreat and seminar and training that I could. And that was in the year 2008. And I've been doing it ever since. And it really is such a gift in my life.
It sounds like it was healing for you, and then it's
Mm.
something you really love sharing with others for their own
Yes,
healing. Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah.
Yes. Now, I'm assuming that some of the listeners probably will have heard of like heart math, because I know that that seems like that's been around for a while, but there is a difference, correct, from the heart energy and heart math.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And in so the organization, the Institute for Applied Meditation, where I began to learn about these
Mm-hmm.
methods, has kind of shifted the name to I Am Heart because they were the Institute for Applied Meditation, I Am, and
Mm-hmm.
added the heart. But they introduced me to the software that HeartMath uses, and they've had a lot of interaction over the years, HeartMath and the Institute for Applied Meditation, or I Am Heart. And they're two distinct organizations.
Okay.
HeartMath um, does this great research and really funds a lot of research, and they've really advanced, I think, our awareness as a society and gained a lot of credibility for the role of the heart and the heart not just being a pump or mechanical
Mm-hmm.
thing. But the Institute for Applied Meditation, or I Am Heart, was first and will always be focused on being a spiritual school of spiritual practices. And it was
Mm-hmm.
founded by people who were initiated as teachers into a lineage that goes back, back, back a long ways through an old Sufi lineage of mysticism. And so they had the calling to bring those teachings sort of more into the world of business and education, to not
Mm.
just be taking, to just infuse spirit into other means of education without it being um, affiliated with any particular religious tradition. But that's the root, is that
Okay.
spiritual practice. So they have a friendly interaction, HeartMath and I Am Heart. They're just
Mm-hmm.
totally separate
Yes.
entities.
Sure. Yeah. Great.
I
Because
hope
I
that
did
went
hear, I
smoothly.
did, no, that was great because I did have, like, when we were at Anna, I heard some like different, you know, oh, it's just like the heart math and all. And I was just like, oh, yeah. So yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to hear kind of what the difference was. So yeah, so I was wondering so about the heart energy work that you do. Is there a way you can kind of describe it to our listeners about like what how you could use heart energy like on a personal level? I know I'm going to share your link, so if people want to, yeah, to contact you and you know, you can teach them how to do that heart energy meditation. But I was just wondering, like, can you give us just a little description of what that would involve if someone wanted to start trying that out?
Sure. Um, it's really remarkable every time I go to answer that question. I think it sounds so simple, and it really is very simple and takes you into incredible depth. So it really is about making your breath, every breath, conscious and being able to feel the heartbeat as well. So that pairing with the physical awareness of your heartbeat does several things. So um, it entrains the breath and the heart. So you develop coherence, cardiac coherence, which is what HeartMath sponsors so much research into. And it's something you can do moment to moment to really energize the connection of the mind with the body. And our perspective in I Am Heart is that that mind-body connection is really most fully and practically energized through attention to the physical heartbeat. And you can lose attention on that 100 times a day, but you just keep coming back to that and it shifts. And if you have a group of people that you are able to do that with, um, there's the saying that meditation isn't necessarily taught, but caught.
Mm,
So I realize I'm talking about meditation and heart energy, but the idea of meditation, we could just call it breath and heart awareness, actually, connecting with breath and heart is the foundation for being able to access heart energy. And that is something that I think we talk about in holistic realms a
mm-hmm,
lot, like the heart and heart energy. And it's oftentimes more abstract and poetic, but this is truly concretely, we're accessing the physical heartbeat. The physical heart um, generates an electrical field,
mm-hmm,
which we learn how to measure, right, with the
mm-hmm,
EKGs. And beyond that, the heart also creates the largest magnetic field of the body. So this is where we're working with the biofield, and we can really master our ability to work with that beginning with and coming back to all the time the access of breath and heart. So it's concrete, but totally out there, like opens a whole new world.
yeah, it really does. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that'll be helpful to people to kind of understand, you know, what this heart energy is. I love that meditation isn't taught but caught. I like that. Yeah. I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that before. I like it. Yeah. So, so with that, I was thinking about how you said that you work with an indigenous group in Arizona. Yes.
Mhm.
And then you also are doing some private practice work. And then you
Mhm.
told me you're doing a little bit of teaching too.
Mhm. Right. Yes.
Yes, yes. So, so would you mind sharing your about your work with your main job, right? With working with the tribe in Arizona.
Sure.
What does that all entail for you?
Well, I have worked, I first started working in 2011 with the Pasquayaqui tribe of Arizona. They're part of the Yoeme people, incredible lineage there, an incredible culture and history. And I can start by saying I have great gratitude to the Yoeme people for allowing me to
Hmm.
practice in a way where, when I graduated from nurse practitioner training, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I really wanted to work holistically. I was very busy raising my children. I did not see myself being able to manage a private practice and a household. That was a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
So, and the ways that psych NPs are employed is grueling. You do 15, maybe 30-minute med checks, and you might see people for 30 or 45 minutes for an initial eval, and they're back to back and they double book you. And
Yeah.
um, so with the Yaqui people as indigenous people around the world, I think as our own ancestors a long, long, long time ago, recognized that we are whole people and you can't cut the brain from the body. And
Right.
and so they were very welcoming from day one to the idea of offering alternatives, herbals and nutrition and supplements and breath awareness and meditation. And so I have the privilege of really being able to learn how people heal, what helps, what can get in the way, and um, I don't know what else to say
Yeah. Well,
about
I
work.
mean, yeah, it
Such
sounds great. And how long have you been there? Did you say since
I
2011?
started in 2011.
Okay.
I left for a few years because it was just a long commute to the reservation while I
Mm-hmm.
had kids in
Oh, for
school a long
sure.
ways away. And then they opened up a clinic in town because a great percentage of the tribal enrollment actually lives in town, not on the
Mm-hmm.
reservation.
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought me back to help open that clinic a few years
Nice.
later. So I've been there now since 2017. So
Wow.
it's always fascinating, and it's just a great group of people to work with.
Yeah, how wonderful that you've been able to be there. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
provide some healing for them. Nice. Nice. And to
Thank
be
you.
accepted into that too, Them sounds like
Right.
they were very welcoming of what you had to
Yes.
offer. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just a whole different approach to healing. And it's so different. I worked for several years at campus health at the University of Arizona
Hmm.
doing the same work. And, you can, like, we're kind of trying to unpack now, as I would try to unpack when I had time with students there, like, this is the role of the heart, how it actually impacts your physical health and your mental health.
Right.
Um, and you can really bring it down to like healing starts in the heart, healing comes from the heart. But it takes a while to understand that coming from the dominant culture, which has tried to cut off
Yes.
that more invisible part of ourselves,
Hmm.
right? But I can sit down with anybody in my practice uh, in the tribe and say, healing really comes from the heart, and they just are like, yeah, the sky's blue. What else do you have to tell
Right,
me?
exactly. Yeah, you're like, yeah, like we've known. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Glad you woke up to that. Yeah.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's just wonderful. Um, and then your private practice, that is a little newer, doing some, or have you, I mean, you've probably been doing like some of it, right? No?
No, I haven't because that requires a little bit of infrastructure and
Yes, it
insurance and
does. Yes.
record keeping and billing and blah 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 blah. So no,
Hmm.
I haven't done it until this year. So super exciting, and to just do the same work but bring it to more people, and there's always a need right now.
Yeah,
It would be lovely if there weren't such a pressing need, I think, for psychiatric care, but
I
there is.
know. But there
So,
is, yeah. Now,
mhm.
you did mention you were talking about pretty much like when you come out of school as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And I'm just not saying all that. I know that's longer, but for our
Right,
viewers, we don't have to say the whole the whole
right,
thing.
right.
PMHNPs. Um, yeah, so you said, when they come out of school, it's like it's essentially like medication management, right? These 15 to 30 minute, if you're lucky, a 30-minute session where you're just managing medications. And did
Right.
you did you find yourself needing to do that for a while before you got into No,
No, I mean, I applied at a few places, and the tribe was one of them, and and that's where I went to work right out of nurse practitioner training.
that's
And
great.
yeah, I'm so thankful. So they did have me initially. I don't remember now. It was a while ago, but you
Sure.
know, there were some shorter appointments, but there was also, especially when I was just starting there, like a no-show rate. So,
Oh,
if
sure.
nobody had checked in, you just took longer with the person who'd shown up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think just doing medication management it's harmful to the practitioner, but it's more harmful, more potential for harm, huge potential for harm
Absolutely.
to the patients.
It's too fast. I
Hmm.
just feel like it's, yeah, I don't, yeah. And you can make a lot of money doing that.
You can. Oh
But
my God.
I would be so stressed out and worried,
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. I just think,
Mhm.
yeah, it's scary to think of how dangerous that can be doing that. But
Yeah.
I love that you have been able to like you got you know, your certification in that and was able to like just go do something that you wanted to do with it. Because that doesn't
Yeah.
always happen. Yeah.
No, no, I'm incredibly thankful, and I think
Hmm.
um, for other people looking at this training, I mean, it takes a special kind of person to work with, s- the Tribal Health Agency is its own unique bureaucracy. It's
Sure.
certainly no more bureaucratic than working at a large university, but it's a unique culture, but
Hmm.
um I mean, I I think with the right approach and respect for what's already been done in
Yes.
any place, you could see if, anybody who's out there figuring out, wondering how they can practice holistically as a psych NP without going straight into private practice, you might look into what
Right.
tribal healthcare. Hmm.
Right. I mean, I have not personally worked at a tribal clinic, but we do have about 30 minutes from us, we have um, like the reservation area where the clinic is. And then, but then they did, I think it's only been a few years ago, well, maybe like somewhere between 3 and 5 years ago, they did move one in town also.
Hmm.
Um, and I have had students at both, nursing students at both places, and they're wonderful. I mean, they're just really wonderful places. I think that, yeah, there's lots of great things going on there. But yeah, I'm glad that we're talking about this because I think if there are um, nurses that want to work, more holistically, right? Those are great places to look.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's such a need for reconciliation and healing,
Yes, absolutely.
what's happened historically. Any
Yes,
place that we're able to be of service to
yes,
our brothers and sisters of every color, I think is
absolutely.
important.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much for that. So it sounds like you've really had kind of a wonderful variety of things going on in your life. How is the teaching?
Oh, that's great. I mean, I just got back into that. I've precepted nurse practitioner students periodically. Um, in the past few years. It took me a while to feel comfortable doing that.
Hmm.
And it's such a great way to learn and stay on top of what's
It
happening, like
is. Yes.
current practice, right? To have NP students. But this is my first, I mean, I did a little bit of ADN program,
Hmm.
like a
Teaching some
little bit.
undergraduate. Yeah.
Right. I did that just like as a substitute. I don't remember. That was back when I was in graduate school. But this is my first time working directly with a BSN program for, you know, these young, bright, motivated people who are wanting to go into nursing and who, like right now, I supervise third semester nursing students who are in their psych rotation.
Okay.
And they're just like it's so enlivening to me to be able to be with people in their 20s who are really in this creative phase of their life of creating
Yes.
their
They're
identity.
excited.
Yeah, yeah, they're excited even if they're like sleep deprived sometimes
Hmm.
or
I
confused
was
or
going to
like
say, and overwhelmed, I'm sure.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a whole challenge. Like we know what we don't usually know what we know. I feel like it's very easy for me to not know what I know and then what do your students, because they're at a different level of practice,
Yes,
what do they
absolutely.
need to know of what I know and how do you share that? Like that's a beautiful mystery. How do you teach?
It is. I have learned that over the like 6+ years that I've taught in because I've taught in both BSN ADNs and now I teach in a master's. Um, but yeah, I think that's for me, my first year of teaching. That was one of the biggest challenges. It's like, you know, we as experienced nurses have all this knowledge, right? And you want to transfer knowledge to them, but it's really easy to overwhelm them, right? So
Yes.
you really got to get down to that level of brand new learning, right? Because otherwise they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. And then they
Yes.
kind of like,
They
like
zone
everybody's
out.
melding. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Go to
do.
sleep. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I know I had a couple of students tell me one time about another faculty that was she was so knowledgeable and she taught pathophysiology in the BSN, the bachelor's degree, and just, really knowledgeable, very, very intelligent. And a couple of them came to me and they were like, "We are so lost. She's so smart. We don't know what she's talking about." And I'm like, "She's very nice. Just go talk to her. She'll help you, you know. Just go have a
Right.
chat." They're like, "She is so over our head."
Right. You just have to be able to like say, okay, we're both humans. Let's sit down and talk about this
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I just think that's one of the hardest parts of teaching is just like, because like I said, we have all this knowledge and we just have to like, yeah, okay, what little snippets can I give them today to help them learn? That's not going to be like, wait a minute, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think we're supposed to learn that yet, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
it's
Or
so
I don't
easy
think we've
to,
learned that yet. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's exciting. You have a lot going on.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up like in the next year that you're excited about?
Oh, good question. So I should have actually prepared for that thought. What I do through Nurses Healing Nurses is I offer monthly meditations where it's every new moon. We have
Yes.
online a meditation to kind of to build the energy for the following 28 days. As the moon grows larger, our intention
Love
and
that.
energy grow
I
with
have I
it.
have it in my calendar. So
Great.
the first
Yeah.
one you did, I had something going on, but it's in my calendar. Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, and the idea is, at first I thought nobody's going to be able to keep track of that. It's a different day of the week. But as nurses, we all work these weird shifts anyway.
Yes.
So if you can't always make it on Mondays, any day of the week I choose, certain people won't be able to come. So the new
Right,
moon
exactly.
all over the
Yep.
week.
Yep.
So so
I
I'm
just I
doing
just
that.
plugged them in. I'm just plugging them in now
Nice.
because I won't remember otherwise. So yeah.
Right, right. And maybe for me, it actually helps me throughout the month be more aware of the natural cycles that I think
Yes.
so many of us really yearn to be more in touch with. So I am very aware, like the moon has been waxing and it's now waning and it's going to be almost gone from the sky by next week when we have our next meditations.
Yeah.
So I do that. I'm really excited about that because that's just a nice way to touch base with everybody once a month. And then in January, I will lead again the my 8-week foundational course, which is um, heart coherence for physical and mental health. So
Mm.
that's the basics of how to access breath and heart and use different ways of breathing through the heart to move the energy of the heart for your own self-healing and for supporting others. So those are two things I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is exciting. I love that. So the nurses healing nurses, how did you come up with that, Lori?
Well, I had finished my training in heart energy healing with I Am Heart. That was in 2023. And so that was one of many year or 2 year programs. That was actually, I think, an 18-month training program that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very distinct from, it's very similar and very distinct from healing touch and therapeutic touch and Reiki, all the more broadly known ways of
Mm-hmm.
working with subtle energy where, we use our hands near a person's body to interact with the energy field. And I was like, this is just so wonderful. So many people would say, this, I'm experiencing energy in a whole different way than I did before. And I thought, why don't we have this as part of nursing training? And I want to bring this
Yeah.
up nursing training, which was like, I didn't realize at the time how idealistic that was, but I decided, I talked to Pran and Susanna Baer, the founders of I Am Heart, who teach this method. Said I'd really like to bring this into nursing professional education, and they were so supportive of that idea. So I developed a couple of courses and got those approved through the Holistic Nurses Association for continuing nursing education. And how did I come up with that? Well, I mean, we're under so much increasing mounting awareness of nurses leaving the profession and
Mm-hmm.
the incredible stress that nurses are under. And I have spent my career, um, fortunately, gratefully, with this foundation and ongoing support that I have from my meditation community, that honestly, I would not have been able to continue in professional nursing without that.
Mm-hmm.
So I look around at others, I'm like, how do you do this? And I remember asking nurses who float from unit to unit, like, how do you do that?
Yeah,
And people just say, oh, you just do what you gotta do. And I'm like, I don't
I
think that's
know.
enough.
I
I
think there's
think,
too many of us doing what we just got to do.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
No.
So I just want to share that with people. And
Yeah.
so,
Nurses are stressed out.
yeah,
They
for
are a stressed out profession.
yes, it's
Yes.
it's incredible.
I mentioned to you earlier before we started the podcast about how I had a rhythm circle this week at my house, and seven people did come, and almost half of those were nurses. And it was interesting because as I asked them to share, what they were, an emotion they were feeling, and from the nurses, it was, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed, I'm uptight, and then afterwards, of course, I got very opposite, feeling
Mm.
words. Um, but yeah, I think most nurses, when you ask, they're just, well, one of them was actually a nursing student too. But yeah, they're just, it's a stressful profession. And I think nursing is wonderful. But if you're going to go into it, boy, self-care, right? And I know we say self-care all the time, but it's so important to take
Right,
care of ourselves through things like meditation, right? And whatever it is that works for you that helps you relax,
right, right.
to take care of yourself.
Well, what I love about what you're describing, Amy, is that it's taking self-care beyond just the self, and it's in that community setting, and they
Yes.
have rhythm to anchor you. And I
Yes.
think that's what's so hard about self-care. We think of it as we just have to take care of ourselves, but we
Right.
really take care of each other, like show up for each other. That was
Yes.
part of my motivation with Nurses Healing Nurses. Like we can show up for each other as nurses
Yes.
to help
Yes,
each other
it's caring for
heal.
yourself individually, but yes, others. I so agree. And I think that's why the group things are wonderful that are healing.
Mm-hmm.
Like doing the energy, the heart energy healing in group meditations and the
Yeah.
rhythm circles and all those kinds of things. They're just,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we
yeah,
all are really yearning for that big time. And
yeah.
I think the systems of care have gotten worse since you and I were in school. Uh,
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I
More
think they
stress.
have. broken system going on for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that as nurses better care for themselves and community, like you said, I think that yeah, we can improve it a little bit at a time, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Lori, I want to ask you one last question, and of course, if you have anything else you want to share too, let me know. But I always ask everyone at the end of the podcast, do you have one piece of advice that you would like to share with other nurses out there or women or yeah, just in your journey that you have had and your experiences and what you see maybe there is a need for people to hear?
Mm. Well, I find myself yearning to just sit and reflect
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
on that.
take some time. Yeah.
And that kind of opens up itself the answer, I feel like that in some ways that is so much what we need is just to sit back and listen
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
the presence that we are, the presence inside. We're always making our lists and checking off boxes and
Mm-hmm.
rushing, as women and mothers, rushing to take care of everything.
Yes.
If you can just lean back and listen to yourself, it can be frightening because
Mm-hmm.
there might be a lot that's built up there, but if you don't do that, it's all going to come exploding out at some point. So take a moment to feel yourself breathe and to feel the heart beating inside, and perhaps to even have that awareness that this idea of being an isolated individual is just this construct we've come up with.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel your breath and you feel your heartbeat, that's the fundamental way we interact with our environment. So, I'm looking at this beautiful mesquite tree just beyond my window. It's exhaling the oxygen that I need to inhale, and
Mm-hmm.
exhaling the CO2 that it needs to inhale. And so, just to take time to connect inside allows you to connect to life and the forces of life around us. And then our resources are as unlimited as the world.
Yeah. So true. Thank you. That was lovely. Thank you. It's a wonderful piece of advice for people just to sit back and just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you again so much, Lori. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this today. And we'll definitely share the link to your Nurses Healing Nurses. Yes. And then also maybe we'll share the I Am Heart link too. People might like to see
Oh,
that
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. That's
Great.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun to talk with you, Amy. Really heartwarming.
Great. Thank you.